Hey, Delaware. Welcome back to another episode of That Delaware podcast. And today we have Lydia here. I'm so hype for this episode. So Lydia is of Lydia Joy Photography, and Lydia does weddings, branding photos. She actually has done branding photos for me, and she's going to do my wedding.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I thought about that this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, not only branding, but your wedding's coming.
Yes.
It's on the list.
So Lydia is amazing, and I just want to share that I didn't have a venue or literally anything else, and I was like, "Are you available this date?" Because once I have you, then I can just kind of I'm really just winging it. Honestly, this is what I do in life. This is how I operate. But I also am of the mind that everything's always working out.
It does.
And so it will.
Yeah. You got the first step. You got the photographer.
Yeah.
Most
Everything
important.
everything else will fall in line.
Yeah.
As it
Absolutely.
should.
So that should show how amazing she is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So for those of them that don't know you, tell us, who are you? How did this all get started?
Goodness.
Give us
the
all the
background.
deets.
Yeah.
All the deets.
Well, I knew at 14, I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to make cakes originally, which is really random.
Wow.
I liked it for some reason, and I was like, I'm going to own my own cake business. It's going to be great. I want to do weddings. For some reason, I was always in the wedding world
Okay.
in my brain. And so I wanted to be my own boss. That I knew, which is a lot. But, I stuck with it. And then my hand started to hurt at a year after doing cakes. And I was like, maybe this isn't the best thing if I'm just not loving this still. So then I thought I was going to be a wedding planner, which is laughable.
Wow.
If you know me at all. That's not my thing. And so I always loved taking pictures and creating things. And I was taking pictures of my dog and trees and always doing stuff with that. And then someone asked me, do you want to take pictures of my kids? And I was like, sure, why not? And the first time I took pictures of people and there was that connection, which is so much more interesting than the trees and my dog to me. I was like, I'm really hooked. And so the first wedding I was ever presented with, I didn't think I would ever shoot weddings because they're big and they're scary and they're unknown. And how do you shoot your first, And I had this couple who had a really unique story, and they were like, we're getting ready, married now. So do you want to do it? And I was like, sure. And I remember putting all the numbers together, and I was like, I think I charged them $400, and I was like, this is the most money I will ever make in my entire life for a job. This is insane. And I shot their wedding, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. And there was so much that I learned from that day, but I still love so many moments from that wedding. And that was back in 2014. And then ever since then, I kind of did a lot of second shooting jobs, learned from that, and just fell in love with the storytelling aspect of weddings. And so that's kind of what got me into the wedding world itself. And then that kind of leads me into branding, because for me, branding is not just a headshot. Branding is storytelling. And every single person's different. Even if I photographed every single woman on your team, each of their branding sessions would be unique to them because every person's different. What they bring to the table is different.
So accurate.
And so it's weird because weddings and branding feel so opposite, but to me, they really tie together because it's just about storytelling and connection at the end of the day. So that's kind of what got us here to almost year 13 of weddings. So
So I love photography. I actually wanted to be a photographer. It didn't happen. Here I am in real estate, but I still everybody knows. I take pictures of everything. I take pictures of everyone. I have more pictures of Kristen
than I have. Kristen has of Kristen. Right?
Kristen has of Kristen or her family. Yeah. I did a video one year for her birthday, and she was like, "Wow, I can't believe that." So I love it. And you capture these moments and the relationships with people. And so I my heart's there with you. I don't know how do you get the guts to be a wedding photographer? I feel like I would have so much anxiety. That's such a big one. Yeah. And that was your first kind of.
Yeah. I think I've had so many people say that, even other photographers, they're like, I could never do weddings. And I respect that they know that, because then you shouldn't. And that's okay.
You shouldn't, yeah.
But there's something that I feel like sometimes it's just this answer that it's where I'm supposed to be, because I feel a peace about it. Not that I don't get nervous. I get nervous before every single wedding because I want to do a good job, right?
'Cause you care.
So it's like this pressure, and I want to do great, but I don't. A wedding itself doesn't give me nerves once I get started, because not in like a cocky way, but it's just like I'm very confident going into it that I can handle the stress, because I've encountered it so many times and I kind of know how to pivot. It's a big stress to people on their wedding day, but it's not to me because I've probably seen it happen before. And I don't know, there's other things that stress me out so much more. If you handed me a newborn to photograph, then I'm stressed out. Like even like younger kids, and like I can still photograph families, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
Because that brings me more stress than a wedding day. Something about, because wedding days unfold naturally.
Yeah.
And so there's of course parts that I'm directing and handling and taking over and guiding, but if you're in love and you're getting married, like it's then my job to step back and observe that and watch your connections with each other, with your family, with your friends from college. Like it's my job to stand back and observe that and capture it. So for me, I just feel it doesn't stress me out the way it does other people.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That makes sense.
I'm thankful it doesn't, but I feel confident that I can tell a couple's story regardless of kind of how everything unfolds.
Yeah. And that is what you do. Like watching your content, the videos, like behind the scenes, the photos, like you are like truly capturing like those moments, like those candid moments, like the story. And that's what I love. Like I love those candid moments. And it like even on your stories, like when you talk, like your Instagram stories, you talk about like the weddings that you have done, or even like the branding sessions, but like you're just so like invested, and like you're like crying, right? You're like, this was just amazing in this story. And I just feel like when you care about something, like you said, you get a little bit nervous before no matter what, but you're still confident. But it's because like you love what you do and you care.
I do.
And that's amazing.
A lot. My business coach, when I'll talk to her sometimes, we talk like on Voxer often, and I get choked up and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm crying. She's like, Lydia, you will always cry. Like, but that's one of your strengths. And so it's cheesy, but like growing up, my parents would always be like, you have such a tender heart. And I didn't know what that meant. I kind of thought it made me like weak because I was at the time, because I feel things deep. Like I feel them real deep. But I think that's one of my huge strengths, because I worked for a photographer when I was younger. And one of the biggest things I learned after working with him was I refused to ever have my clients feel like a number, or like just a check mark in my list of like, all right, 20th wedding for the year, 20, like that's, they're people. And if you start viewing them as just like you walk in and you take their pictures and you walk away, then that's so icky to me. And I wouldn't enjoy my job. Like the weddings that mean the most to me and that stick with me to this day are the ones that like we became friends beforehand. But I will also always explain, like, just like you have so many pictures of her. It's like when you have pictures, when you care about people, you know who they are, you know what's important to them, you know who's important to them. So I'm always like, think about photographing your best friend or your sister versus a stranger. You're going to know more about how to capture them. So I always kind of encourage relationships with my clients, and not everyone is open to that. I'm not like stalking them or like doing anything crazy, but like I love to follow along with them on social media and just, like, be a part of their lives in whatever capacity that they allow me to, because then when they walk down the aisle and like I'm tearing up because I know who that like flower pours in the front seat, or I know so much more about their story, like it's personal to me. And so that's like really important. It is, but yeah, I do cry on my stories sometimes, you know, but it's just because I really care.
Yeah.
It's a lot, which sometimes is emotionally taxing, but I'll take it. I would rather that than the opposite.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel that like even in like our business, it's like, you know, there are different people run their businesses differently, just like in real estate or like photographers. And there's a lot of people in this business that it's like very transactional, and it's like, it is a number. It's like, all right, you check boxes, we did this. And it's just like, for us, it's not like, you know, things don't go right. We're like stressing and we're like, all right, we need to fix this. And we want to like love on people this way. And so I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
And I think that people that feel that way are just like really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And you can tell that with you, like 100%.
I was going to say, I feel like you can see that through your team as well. It's like, I know with every transaction that you have, you're thinking about, you know, their their new marriage or their kids or their move or their new job. Like I know you can tell, and I think that bleeds through in the way that you market and the way that you share your stories too. And that's really important because when you are trusting someone with something so big, you want to know that they care and they're not just like, whatever, another freaking phone call,
Absolutely.
Like you want us to be like, oh my gosh, like what can I do to help?
What can I do?
Because in those high stress moments, like you're who they're trusting, or in those high stress moments, I'm who they're trusting. And so if I'm just like, I don't care, like get this day over with.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Then I'm not going to put my all into it.
Yeah.
I will put my all into it. Sometimes I'm like, this is not even my job, honestly, but I don't care because in this moment, I'm going to handle it for you.
Girl, same.
I'm sure you all know. Yes.
Yes. But that, again, like people that do that, I feel like that's like, it just says so much.
Yeah.
Really. And for you to like comment and say like that you see that from our branding, I love that because you have done a lot of branding.
Yeah.
Photos and photo shoots for a lot of different businesses, and that's kind of like your niche, like another one of your niches now, and you do such an amazing job. It's wild to see like all the different businesses and just like you just capture them all so well, whether it's like, I don't know, the one girl, like her business, I think was like something with like plants. And then the other girl you just did, it was like, was it like the French style? Like you did
her balloon art, but her new brand is very like French chic was her vibe. So we kind of just worked together to bring that to her session.
Yeah.
Which a lot of pinks. A lot of my brands have a lot of pinks in them. So I feel like I'm liking all the girly vibes that we got going right now.
And you went above and beyond for that too, right? Like you went and like got like ribbons and you made all these bows and
yeah, because I had this vision. I also had like slight control issues, but it's okay. We're working on it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have our full support.
We understand.
Because I'm like, sometimes like if I want it done and I want it done right, sometimes it's in my head a certain way and I just know it's not going to happen unless I do it myself. So yes, we did tie many, many ribbons. And by we, I mean I let's be honest, but I tied them and I placed them, but I was so proud of that backdrop. And that was something I took over for sure because like she had enough going on. She had her balloon art and her drapery and her florals to handle, which was her business. But I really wanted the balloon. I wanted the bow wall.
The bows,
so work on that.
And you killed it.
Thank you.
So okay, I understand you got into the wedding photography. How did you get into the branding? Because I feel like there are not a lot of photographers, at least in our area, who do that at a high level like you do.
Thank you.
Because I have seen Amber's photos and they are 10 out of 10 guys.
Yeah. I will never, honestly, I remember where I was the moment it hit me, which is weird, but I have a photographic memory. Sometimes I just can't forget. So I was listening to a podcast by Jenna Kutcher, ironically. And
love her.
She said something along the lines of like, okay, so like you're photographing weddings, she wasn't talking to me. I mean, she was, but she didn't know she was talking to me. She's like, you're photographing weddings, engagements, families, blah, blah, blah. And think about like the one person who needs photos and doesn't have photos, like businesses do. And I was like, that was the very beginning of when I also started showing my face on social media because for so long people weren't. And especially as a photographer, I was showing my work, but I wasn't showing up. So I remember asking my mom to come down with a camera and like take pictures of me because I was like, I need to show my face and like my life and all of this. And it felt so strange and odd, but I was like, challenge accepted, let's try it. So then I was like, I want to start offering branding sessions. And I really don't think anyone was at that time. And it was like 2019, because it was before COVID and everything. And so I reached out to a couple businesses, did them for like, let's just try this, super low price, let's do it. I worked with a videographer, I worked with a fitness coach, I worked with a hairdresser, and we kind of got a couple like under my belt. And I was like, okay, I like this. And so then I did a couple like headshot mini rounds to just like get some more businesses like in the door and like see how it goes. And then COVID happened. So all of that kind of disappeared. Though I did photograph like a yoga class during that time and kind of show what it looked like from a different perspective, like with her on a Zoom call and like a spread out class. So I did work with some businesses because they're showing like what business looked like for them during that time. But then I shut everything down when I went through a divorce in 2021 and I just couldn't juggle it all. I was giving my branding half my attention, my wedding side of things half my attention, and I just couldn't do it. So I shut the branding side down completely. Gave weddings my all, And then I was like, I want to do this again. Like, I think I'm ready to like, so about a year ago, I relaunched The Joy of Branding, and it was the right timing for sure. But yeah, that's kind of how it started, was almost like, again, a podcast and a challenge for myself to show up. And so now it brings me so much joy, no pun intended. I'm like, my mom gave me the middle name for a reason. But it brings me so much joy to be able to give businesses that, and it's bigger to me than pictures. Like the biggest compliment to me is like with the balloon art. Like she was like, I looked at these pictures and I was like, that is my business. Like that, I grew that. Like, and so I think we're behind the scenes so often and working and overwhelmed, and we see like emails and the admin and stress and the to-do list. And suddenly she saw herself in a different light of like, I grew this. I'm successful. I'm amazing. And like to see it come to life, like that was really rewarding to me to kind of get that feedback. And so I think, I don't know, I love it. And it again, it's weddings and brandings are so different, but the outcome feels very similar to me. So the rewarding part of it is that. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And now we're doing it on a different level, more than I was back in 2019. But yeah, we're getting there.
So where do you guys usually shoot your branding photos?
So it completely depends on the client. My goal would be to do it in their space if that space exists. Not every client has a space like that. With estheticians, for example, or things like that. Like I love to be in their space because my biggest goal is to show followers or potential clients what that space looks like. Because I know I have a lot of anxiety. And so going into a new location, I want to know, like, give me the details. Like, what does the room look like? How much space do I have? Is there a waiting room? Like, what, like, can I expect when I walk in? And the more I know ahead of time, the less anxiety I feel walking in.
That's true.
So I'm like, even something as simple as like the parking lot sounds stupid, but like, if you show it in a roundabout way, people feel more at ease. Because like if I know the parking situation, I feel better. So I think it's like bringing people behind the scenes of like what your space looks like, what you look like. Because they walk in and they're like, I've been here before. They haven't been there before. I've been here before. I feel like I've been here before. I've only ever seen it online.
Yeah.
But so it's like, it's giving people that peace of mind.
Yeah.
And so being in someone's space is ideal if they're in that situation. If not, it just depends on what their vibe is. So, I mean, like a blank studio space is always something that we can work with and build from. So there's a studio in Dover that I work in often. There's one in Delaware City that I've worked in. So it depends on what they're looking for. But I also just love to take their brands, their colors, their vibes, and build from there. So sometimes a blank slate is perfect. Sometimes their space is perfect, or something completely out of the ordinary. I like the funkier the better, but you know, everyone's different. So wherever their comfort level is. But
Okay.
So I've done, and like how I met Lydia initially was I went to a branding mini session for another photographer, and then she was there shooting as well, and then followed her on Instagram, love her, and then you had you had just launched the Joy of Branding, and there was a giveaway, and I was like, I went so hard.
You were
trying to win this thing, but also like to support her because like you know me, like I'm just like always like I just want to push it out there, you know. When there's something good, a good business, good people, it's like you got to push it, right? So then I ended up doing a branding session with her, and we went to Old Newcastle.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing another one with her in a couple of weeks, and we're going to the Ivory.
Yes, in Dover.
Ivy.
It's very close.
In Dover.
Ironically, the owner's name is Ivy. So you were close. You were.
Oh my God. Okay. And maybe I was thinking of, I feel like there's a place in like LA. Isn't there like a popular place where like the celebrities go? I don't know.
We could go.
I was a celebrity for a minute. But yeah, we're going there, and it's like a blank space, or, you know, I'm sure we'll have like some sort of prop. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, well, because exactly, like Newcastle was perfect for you. Like anyone that follows you, it's like that was your vibe. And so we hit all of your favorite spots too.
Yes.
We were at the Mercury, and we went to the wine bar, and we went to all these different things that were so you. And so whenever you see it, you know where you are, and it fits you.
Yeah.
Then having this additional one is perfect because I love it. I call it like evergreen content. Like you can use those photos
Yes.
for so long and just make them work for you for a very long time. But then in the Ivy, it's the Ivory. Now we're both gonna say it. In the Ivory is gonna give you a whole different look, which is nice. So that I like that it's two different like vibes and looks so that you can continue to use them.
And that's a perfect example for like anyone listening, because you can do it to whatever level you want with branding photos. Like you can go on location somewhere. You can go to the Ivory.
We got it right.
Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Or like, is it Petite?
Petite Social.
Social. Like places like those. And yeah, you can just kind of do whatever works for you. And when we did it, I felt like two friends just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like it was like super low pressure. Like we were just having fun with it. We went around to the different places and yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah.
So
that's how it should feel. I mean, because I was going to say no one loves being in front of the camera. Some people do. It's not my jam. Like you put me on the other side and I could like freeze up. But I think if you can put someone's mind at ease and they don't feel like it's such a formal production, then they are going to be more themselves anyway. And I didn't even intend to, but my brand has become so like fun. Like everyone that gets in front of the camera looks like they're having fun. And that's not everyone's brand. So someone who has more that like serious, like mysterious vibe, like, high end might not be drawn to me, but that's okay because I don't think we'd be drawn to each other.
Yeah.
Not that I couldn't pull that off, but I don't think that's quite where my passion lies. Like I feel like there can be a mixture of that, but like have fun, be you, be inviting, because that's a lot of the personalities that I feel like I tend to attract. And so as I look through my different photos, I'm like, everyone's having fun. Yeah. And I like it. You should be having fun doing your job. So that's kind of what I think I'm drawn to, and then naturally kind of is drawn to my business. So
I think it's like the whole energy exchange thing. Like even your emails are fun. Like I get an email from her and it's like, hey, and I'm like, I can feel like her energy through.
I refuse to have boring emails. Come on now.
It's a fantastic email.
Yes, I love
like
that.
Even if she's sending a confirmation, it's like that was fun.
Yeah, I love that.
The energy is present.
I appreciate that.
So when it comes to branding photos, like, before it was like just your regular old headshot, right? And people used the same headshot forever. And it's like a joke in the real estate world,
right? Like the 80s like glamour photo that you use forever.
Yes.
And then you show up to like the showing and it's like, oh, this is the same person.
Wow.
Or maybe it is, but
decades ago.
Yeah. I literally experienced that early on. Like I had a meeting with a woman after I had finished my classes and I went to go meet with her, and I was like, I don't want to use the word startled, but that's all I can think of. It's just like surprised. Like I was just like, oh, and then like confused, like, is that her?
Yeah.
And it was, but like her photo it was like her photo from like 2007.
Yeah.
So I take pride in like when I meet people and they're like, oh, your photo looks like you. I'm like, thank you. Like that's the goal.
Yes.
But it's now just like a notch above that, right? Like it's not just like a headshot. It is like, here's a little insight to who I am as a person, who I am, through like whatever business you do. And I love that. But so when it comes to that, it's like, we're so used to just using like our headshot, and it's like, all right, here's my headshot. I'm going to upload it to these sites and boom, done. And you get these amazing photos. And I know even for me, like, I was just like, I love these. What do I do with them?
Yeah.
And I eventually like I'll use them on my stories to like say something or, here and there. But I think a lot of people get caught up on that. So like, what would you recommend to people that are like, I don't know, like I that sounds amazing. I would love to do that. But like, what do I do after that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question, because if you didn't have the content before, then you weren't using it, right? So now you have all this content and you're like, cool, they're pretty. I'm not going to print them and hang them on my wall. I mean, some people might, but that's kind of weird. And so like, what do I do now? And so I think I don't think it's a bad thing to make that investment and that decision when you're also at a place where you could maybe bring in some help, no matter what that looks like, meaning it might be taking a course on, like, everyone's level of content creation is very different.
Yeah.
And so I came into it from a place where I was creating a ton of content. And so it flowed naturally for me. But if you weren't, then it's a whole new world. And so there is more uses than just social media. Of course, it's updating your website. It's taking the freaking stock photography off of your website and making it yours. And that's where, again, it's so much more than a headshot. I'm always like, we are going to create custom stock photography. I would rather be your hands doing the, the lashes, the massage, than some like you're covered in tattoos, right? This person's covered in tattoos. And then it's like this like random person like doing a massage. And I'm like, that's not even you. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's like replacing all of those kind of stock images, those, you've seen them everywhere, photos, with stuff that is so you, your colors, your person, your hands, your accessories, things like that. But then when it comes to social media, I think it's just remembering that it's a good use for your story is like, okay, if you're going to post your availability, don't just post a blank availability. Pick one of those favorite photos and find a way to use it where you're still showing up. Because again, you're not just communicating your face, you're communicating your personality, your vibe, and all of those things.
Yeah.
And so if you're, hey, upcoming open house, you don't always have to show the house, like show you, And so it's just finding new ways to show up in even your reels, to do just like little things, like little memes that come out. Use yourself, you know what I mean? And so it's finding new and creative ways to use these photos that you have and just kind of have fun with it. Try it. I'm like, stories don't, even feed posts, I get a little bit more stressed about feed posts. But stories, they last so short.
So that's why I do a lot of stories, because it's like committing to a nail color for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever. It's like, oh my gosh. So it's like to post this, it's like commitment issues, right?
Just throw it up there, give it a go, try it. And sometimes it doesn't also like do it for like 3 months, right? Just push it, do it. And then go back and look at your archives. And sometimes you go back and you're like, oh, I really liked what I did like the last couple of months. Like that looked really good when you see it all together versus like a 24-hour chunk. And so I think it's just trying new things and seeing what works for you. But again, using those photos when you're making announcements or availability or a new offer is like, instead of just using the stuff you would usually use, which is like that Pinterest poll of like, the coffee cup, use you. And so it's just different because people don't always like looking at themselves, but you'll be okay.
You get used to it. You really do.
It's not as scary as it feels scary at first, but it's okay.
Yeah. I remember doing like my first video and coming into the office and I was like, I just went live. Right? I was like stressing. And it's like you just get used to hearing your voice, which people hate hearing their voice. You get used to seeing your face. Sometimes I'll watch my stuff a few times because I'm analyzing it. Yeah. Or sometimes it's really good and I'm like, damn, that was a really good one. And Chris is like, how are you watching yourself over and over again? And I'm like, it was good. Look, that was like really good. Or I'm like, yeah, maybe I could change. Anyway, you get used to it.
You do.
You do.
Sometimes you just have to force yourself. Because if I didn't run a business, I would not be in front of a camera. I'm just like you. I'm like, I would rather be on the other side of things.
Yeah. She just did that trending reel where it's like, go to hell. And it's like, I'm already here. I'm already there.
Because that's just not who I am. But sometimes you just have to force it until you're comfortable. Fake it till you make it. And people want to work with people that they feel like they already know their personality.
Exactly.
And I want to work with clients who are like, yes, like, that's my person. And we attract different clients.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
But we have to show up in order to do that. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you just kind of get the luck of the draw. And if you're not meshing with a client and you're working with them for years, like that would not be life-giving for us. Like I always say I have the best clients, and she says that too, but it's because we attract the people that are going to work well with us.
Yeah. And they've seen you. I was just talking to someone about this morning, ironically, of like a referral. And I love a good referral. I will take them always. But sometimes you have to fight a little bit harder for it because they're like, oh, so-and-so sent you like my name. Or like, so they sent me your name. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, it's like, tell me more about yourself. And I'm like, okay, but like then there's the people who have like, I followed you on Instagram for like 3 years now. Like I love who you are. Now it's my time. Book. Yeah. And so it's just so different. I'm almost just like, can you follow me? Because like we can get to know each other. Like a 20-minute phone call is great. But like I'm like, please let me tell you how much I can do for you. Whereas like I've already shown it so much online. And so there is just like a difference of like when you show up, it's hard and it's weird, but and like you, even to speak to what you said earlier, is like when someone meets you, it's such a compliment to not only like look like your photos, but when someone's like, you are exactly who you are online.
Yes.
That's huge because then you've already met each other, right? Like you already have that like prerequisite of like the nerves. Like you feel like you're old friends by the time you show up because like they've seen all of, like the quirky reels and like the funny things that you've done. And so they're like, I know her, I trust her, we're good.
Absolutely.
And so it just sets that baseline, which is just, it makes like the booking process or like whatever so much easier on both ends.
Yep, exactly, on both ends.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get it all the time where people are like, I feel like I know you. Like you just said, like followed you for 3 years and they're like, all right, book, it's my time. But that is the best feeling because we get that, right? Like people go and it's like almost like your social media is your resume.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, and it's not just your resume for your business, but it's like people want to know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, are you a mom? Are you, you know, a wife? Are you single? Are you know what I mean? Like, what do you do? Where do you go? Like, people are interested.
Yeah.
And people say that to us all the time. Like, I feel like I know you. Literally before like this morning, some guy walked up to the door and he was coming here to drop off his business cards. And he was like, I know you from Instagram.
Yes, he did.
It's always such a weird feeling, but also at the same time.
And I'm like, oh, hey. I'm like, well, who are you? What's your name? Like, nice to meet you in person. But it's a good feeling because it feels like you are already connected, and you are, especially this day and age. Like it is what it is, right? This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
lean in, guys. It's not going anywhere.
If you fight it, then you're gonna fall behind.
Yeah.
Or
oh yeah,
you can only do so much. Like you have to do it in your own way. I'm always like, don't be someone you're not. Like I'm happy to show up on my Instagram stories and dance my butt off and look like a fool. But that's who I am all the time. Like I'm gonna do that at your wedding. Like I get super excited and I'm like, yes. So like you're gonna see that. But like you don't do that if that's not you.
Yeah.
You know, like ironically it was about photography. But I remember she said one time like, don't be weird just for the sake of being weird. And she was talking about pictures that you take. But still, I'm like, you don't have to be someone you're not. Like there's certain things that like I would never do that. But like good for them. I enjoy watching it. It's entertaining. But it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to find what makes you comfortable while also kind of staying in line with it. So that's what, like, it's not being trendy. It's just, this is where marketing is. So find your version of what feels good and then go with that. And I think that's where people get so nervous. And I'm like, it's okay. Just find your version. You don't have to be me. You don't have to be you. You don't have to be you. Just be your version.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And, you know, you can go to like, everyone should follow you and look at your stuff because I've learned things, you know, from you that you do. Like, obviously, like you offer branding photos for, you know, businesses, but then you are your own business. So you know, you're putting your branding out there and you're doing like little things on your story and like, and I'm like, oh, that's how she uses that or does that. And I'm like, I really love that.
Yeah.
So then, you know, it's like, well, I'm going to implement that.
Yeah.
So I love that. So you're not just a photographer, you're a mom, you are a fiance.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, how is it juggling Lydia, the business owner, photographer, with Lydia, the mom and fiance, and all the other things that you are?
It's challenging. It is a lot. I don't do a great job of dividing and conquering. I am all in one place and then like dropping the ball somewhere else.
Relatable.
On my story the other day, it was like, Shonda Rhimes said it, but she was like, people are like, how do you do it all? And it's like, you don't. Like, you literally can't. So she's like, if I'm like on stage winning an award for like, you know, the show, then I'm forgetting to make my daughter's Halloween costume, you know? And that stuck with me because I'm like, if I'm like showing up in my stories and like editing like crazy and delivering all the things and being like, I'm a badass business owner, then like my kids are like, where's my permission slip form? And I'm like, dang it, you know, I forgot that. Or I'm like, on
So
it. And I'm, like, being
relatable.
the chaperone and I'm like doing all these things. And then my fiance's like, what's for dinner? I'm like, oh, I don't know. So it's like, it feels like just when I feel like I'm killing it in one place, then like something else is like, ooh, screwed that up. And then I go to bed and I'm like, I'm a bad mom or like I'm a bad fiance. And like, that's not true. I beat myself up often. But if you're going to do all those things, then it's just like they have their place, but you can't do it all at one time. I was going to say you can't do it all well. You can do it all well. You just can't do it all well at once. So yeah, no, it's challenging.
I listened to your Instagram stories when you talked about that. It was like 4 different stories. And I was in there. I was like, oh my God, this is so accurate. Like I felt that so much because it is true.
Yeah.
And we had like a whole podcast about how we just like nobody has their shit together
No.
100% of the time. Like we're all just winging it, right?
Yeah.
We're just like doing our best. And so that was just so relatable, and it's so true. Like we're all just out here doing our best. It's not possible for you to be, you know, like you said, like the best mom and cooking dinner and also like editing all these photos and all of this, you know, at the same time.
No.
And
not. And so sometimes I think when you remember that, it's like, then you can give yourself grace, because like it is okay if they had Easy Mac for dinner, because then I met all my deadlines today. You know what I mean? Or it's okay if that email waits till tomorrow. That person will survive. They really will be okay. And my kids got to go to the park because we had a random warm day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that's okay. But also I'm like, then as a business owner, I had to learn so much about communication, and boundaries is such a very strong word. And yes, we all need them. But I think the definition is just like managing your own comfort while setting expectations for your clients. And so for me, it's like somebody was like, I never got your email. I'm like, the one you asked for an hour ago? Like, it's Sunday. I'm with my family.
That's crazy.
I'm not. I will see you tomorrow. And they did. They heard from me this morning. But like, there's nothing that pressing that we need to like freak out about. So I also am like, it's going to be okay. Like, you're going to be okay. And if you don't hire me because I did not answer you within the hour, then we weren't a good fit anyway. Because
100%.
like, yes, you're juggling a lot. And I've been trying to like figure out a way to even say this in a post, but it's like, I am a mom, but that doesn't make me like a bad business owner.
Yep.
You're going to wait a little bit longer for an email, like not forever, but like 24 hours, maybe 48. But being a mom also makes me a really good photographer, because I see things in a way that others can't, you know, and like until you become a mom and experience that, you just can't see things in that way. And so I think it's a strength and a weakness, but not a bad weakness. It's
not
just
at all
something that comes with the job, you know, the literal job, the mom job, the everything. So I think it just, again, all makes you part of who you are. People love seeing my kids online. So if it takes you a little longer to get an email, it's okay, because me and Joe are having a blast and dancing. And so it's okay. So
absolutely.
It's a lot, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
We talk about the juggle all the time. So it's just like so relatable to us. And with real estate, people say like, you know, like it's not like we're not surgeons. Like nobody, like you said, like they're going to be okay. Like nobody's going to die. And some days we're better at that than others, right? Because I can be sitting with my daughter and I'm like, I have anxiety because I know that I have to email this person and I haven't. And we have to help ourselves like get better at that, because like I always try to remind myself, like, just be where your feet are planted.
Yeah.
Because my daughter deserves that, right? Like our kids deserve that. And if we're half in on anything, it's not good.
No. And they can tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my clients would be able to tell too, you know? So sending like a half-ass email is not going to help anybody. Sometimes there's an email, there's a quick email. Fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's an email that requires me to sit down, look up a location, put together a timeline, do this. If you want me to do that while I'm in the middle of doing XYZ with my kids, then you're going to get half my attention. Or my kids are like, can you play Legos with me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And like, they can tell that too. So for me, I'm like, I would rather have an hour where I'm like, you sit and watch your movie. Mommy needs to get work done. And my clients get my full attention. And then my kids get my full attention. Everyone works out better when they're getting full attention.
Absolutely.
Versus a little bit here and a little bit there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I had this last year was a very like, oh, well, like we will all survive type of year for me. And it's kind of stressful. I didn't do perfect at it. Sometimes I let things go a little longer than I should on both ends, mom life and
girl
business
same
life. But
We all do.
We all do.
Like, it's fine.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, you get in your head and you look at everyone out there, right? And like if you just posted on your Instagram, or any of us just posted on our Instagram on our feed and not like on our stories, like showing like the little clips of like the chaos and things like that, we would or people would look at that and be like, oh, wow, like they must really have it all together. And I am just a freaking loser. And why can't, you know, like, so, but nobody has it all together.
No.
And we know that. And sometimes we don't remember that. We just got to like keep telling ourselves that, like, we're just.
Yeah.
I would just say, and I think that, I think there's a difference between Kristen, who was getting into the business and was like, not necessarily a scarcity mindset, but you know, like you're struggling when you first start any business, right? And Kristen now, who I'm like, I had a client. Well, I actually did not have a client. I had a referral from a past client, and it was this fall, and I was at a soccer tournament up in New Jersey. It was an away tournament. We were on the road. We were go, go, go. It was just me and my daughter. And my past client, she messaged me about a property, was not on the market, for her father, who would be the client. And I texted her back as I'm on the field watching my kid play soccer. And then we left there. We went immediately to a team dinner. I mean, it was not, we hadn't even been to the hotel at this point. And as I'm at the team dinner, the father sends me a message that I had not been in communication enough. We were not a good fit. He did not want to work with me. And I think when I first started in this business, that would have hurt.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I didn't feel even the least bit upset about this. I'm like, this is fine. I actually felt more like, okay, let me just reach out to my past client, because that's where the relationship was, like, just so she understands. And she's a business owner too. And she was like, listen, I get it. I told her, listen, I'm away.
Yeah.
This is a weekend. This is like not even been 5 hours.
Well, I was going to say, it wasn't
let
even
alone, I was like, this is, I wish your father the best luck. He should absolutely find
else.
somebody
If he
that
needs
is
a
going to be
referral.
able to be there for him on his term. There's an agent for him.
Yeah.
But like the piece that I felt like this was not the right client for me. I have to balance my life. I have 3 kids. And they get attention from me. I am not on call 24/7. Like, we are not surgeons. It is not that urgent.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to, if you are newer and you feel like you have to answer every single thing, like, just take a break. You will burn yourself out with that mentality.
Yeah. You probably almost felt relief because you're
I
like, thank
absolutely.
goodness we were in so far into that
Yes.
relationship where there was no way out, or it was
Not
like
a ton of sunk hours,
yes.
you know?
So it was like, yeah, no, there's a piece in that for
Absolutely.
sure. Because having the opposite, having a client like that is
They will
more
suck
stress
the
than
life
it's
out of you.
worth. Yeah.
They will suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
So don't take on clients that don't fit you.
No.
And honestly, the branding, I love this because, and I love that we've pivoted into that instead of just a headshot. You tell a story about who you are. That helps you to attract the best clients.
Yeah. And I think what's cool about it that a lot of people don't realize is like, it also makes you do some of the work too to like figure out what your brand is. So like, I'm sending you, you saw the questionnaire. I know it's a lot. It's homework, but
I still need to do it. But you're right. It makes you think.
It does make you think. I have to look at these questions sometimes and answer them for myself, because it's not just like, oh, what font do you use and what's your favorite color? Like, cool. That matters to me, but like in the scheme of things, it doesn't, because so you have to do a lot of self-reflection when you book a branding session, because I can't do that work for you. I'm not a person who's going to do a rebrand for you. Like that is far beyond my scope of work, because it's not what I do. Like, I don't even know how.
Yeah.
But so then you have to do the work to figure all that stuff out so that I can tell your story. And so sometimes that's what people aren't ready for that, and that's okay. But I think it also like makes you look at yourself and be like, oh, like what is like what I want people to feel when they come across my feed? What is my personality? Like, what does my personality and my brand match, or are they opposite? Because that's okay if it is, but it's like those little questions that make you dig deeper. And it's one of those, like, you just think about it later. Like, you're going to grab coffee or you're sitting at dinner and you're like, what is my, like, you know what I mean? So I think it makes you dive a little bit deeper, which some people would find overwhelming. But if you can't answer those questions about your brand, then branding session or not, like, you have some
You got some work to do.
Not work in a bad way, but just like to start to figure those things out, because then the content will flow and the posts will flow, because you know who you are, you know what your messages are. It's not a question mark anymore. You're not like, well, should I post like what this person posted, or should I pull from this? Like, you know what you want to say. So it kind of helps with all of that. So I think it's like a twofold, because you like leave with, just like you said, like, what do I use these photos for? I think that questionnaire kind of helps you pull out your marketing and like your message.
Yeah.
Then it flows naturally into the post that you want to put out there. So
I love that.
yeah.
So, in conclusion, what advice do you have for somebody that is looking to, maybe it's a photography business or whatever business, somebody who's a mom, somebody who's maybe single, whoever, a woman that was maybe like in your position, like what advice would you give Lydia?
Oh, goodness. Lydia
Back then.
Today, or Lydia, like, what Lydia are we talking to? Because there's been a lot of versions of her.
Yeah. Well, I guess what are your What are your best pieces of advice for somebody in the beginning, whatever that season is for them, like in the beginning?
Goodness. I think the first thing that came to mind is just like, don't be afraid to try new things. Like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of like, you have to push away the thoughts of like, what is everyone else going to think? Because I think the biggest thought that runs through my mind is always like, someone's going to see this and be like, who does she think she is? You know what I mean? Even like walking out of the house today, I was like, if I walk into a public place in this outfit, people are going to be like, who the hell does she think she is? And then I was like, actually, I feel really good. So
no, I feel like people would be like, who is that? She looks amazing.
Then I was like, okay, like, and so I think that's what plays in my head often. And so that would even be my advice to myself. But when it comes to posting online, it's so easy to just like think about what everyone else is going to say and like, who cares? Like,
so true.
It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's not a tattoo on your body. It's a feed post. It's a story. It's not that big of a deal. So
such a good reminder.
Yeah.
So I would just say like, do it, try
just
it.
Do it.
Do the weird reel. If you hate it, you can delete it.
Yeah.
Like, put up a story, like do the weird thing, get on your story and be vulnerable. Like, I've connected with more people shedding, again, don't like set up your phone and be like sobbing. Each their own. Yeah. But that always feels a tad strange to me. But it's there have been times when I'm talking about something I'm passionate about or talking about parenthood, motherhood, and tears come out. And I don't stray away from posting that because I think people relate to that because everyone's had the moment where they get home from work and they're crying in their car because life's really hard. Yeah. So like, I think just being vulnerable is what brings connection. And so just don't be afraid to do it. That would be my advice, which is kind of fluffy and woo-woo, but that's what came to my brain. So
fluffy and woo-woo is totally my vibe.
Okay.
So I love that. It's really good advice, honestly. Like, it's really good advice, and it's advice to anybody starting out, and it's a good reminder for us, right? Yeah. Like, we can be in the thick of like posting all this content and still like get in our heads.
Yeah.
So really good. Thank you, Lydia.
Of course. Thank you guys.
And that is the end of that Delaware podcast. It's a weird way to end it, but whatever. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of That Delaware Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at That Delaware Podcast and our team page at RosaioTeam_real estate. And of course, if you have any real estate or Delaware questions, feel free to reach out.